All right, the podcast is about to start. The greatest podcast. Let me tell you something. This is another episode of the greatest podcast for elite losers. I don't know if I'm in frame, out of frame. We just go on producer. I am not only the producer of the show, I am the greatest elite loser. I am the content creator, which I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I am the executive producer. I do everything here. I literally am 3 days behind from releasing this, but we do not have a release date. Once again, this is the greatest podcast for the elite losers. We don't have dates. We don't have scheduled releases. We don't even number the episodes. This could just end tomorrow. It should. There's someone who's watching this. Like I said, I've come across videos on the internet that have 120 views. I'm like, what a fucking loser. I don't even have half of that. And I'm looking at this guy who puts out content every day. This podcast is equivalent to the guy who tweets every day, multiple times a day, 0 likes. What a fucking psycho. How does the FBI not visit that human being? Like if I'm in any kind of intelligence and there's a guy putting out tweets with 0 likes, 0 response, retweeting other things, dude, knock on the door. Excuse me, sir, you're coming with us. Even if you're not a threat to national security, you're a disgrace to fucking evolution, humanity. Whatever you think's right there, you're a fucking disgrace. Tweeting with no interaction, you think you're gonna be found? Anyways, that's this podcast. Any moment, the fucking intelligence should knock on this door and say, dude, you're putting out crazy. I'm like, no. This has potential. With that being said, if you watch this podcast every week, we had a viral video, finally. 2 years of posting every day, multiple times a day. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. Posting every day. 2 years. 2 years. But what did Malcolm Gladwell say? 10,000 hours? Baby, we're only at 2,000. So we had that video officially hit 1 million. And you know what 1 million views on Instagram gets you now? It gets you 140 follows. 140 follows. Because if you're not a hot chick with tits, they don't give a fuck. But they do call me Unk. Unk? Like, I guess, Uncle? Like, Uncle going crazy? And I'm like, that's fine, too. Look, but Joey Diaz is Uncle Joey. So I'm just a psycho on the internet. A lot of engagement, but we're having a good time. And Texas was great. Texas is amazing. Texas is great. Everyone says Texas is great, and you're like, it is great. Austin is amazing. But with every good, there's bad, right? And you're like, well, what is it? And it's like, okay, I could deal. It gets really muggy in Texas in the summertime. It's starting to get real hot. We're just hanging out outside of Whole Foods. This is downtown Austin. Just waiting for Ryan. I was on the road with Ryan Long. Just waiting for him outside of the Whole Foods. And I see this big cockroach. Like, New York has cockroaches, New York has rats, but this fucking thing was huge. So I see one. I go, gross, can deal with it, it's fine. They're big, like it's bigger than a golf ball. Then I see another one. And what happens was, once you see one, you can't not see them. They're all over the place. There's outdoor cockroaches, and they're fucking huge. They're massive. And I'm like, well, this is what it is. This is what sucks about Austin. The vermint, what's that word? The fucking bugs, the snakes. I don't know if they have snakes. I never saw a snake. But there's scorpions. I know the scorpions creeping. The spiders, there's shit that just can fucking bite you. That's the size of a quarter and you're dead. So yes, they're shipping thousands of migrants to New York City. And that's a problem. But also, on equal terms, are these funking horse spiders These black widow spiders, they're not getting laid, so they want to go bite humans and kill them. I don't know if they're females. I think that's the female that kills you. The black widow, isn't that why? It's because her husband died, so she's a widow. So, anyways, Texas is great. Food is phenomenal, but the bugs are disgusting. Just shit's flying around. Like, what is this? What is this disgusting thing just flying around? And then the people are like, yo, what about the rats? Rats are fucking smart. They're gross, but they're smart. They know not to fuck around. They know where not to go. The occasional one's a little retarded and runs on your toe. But that's, hey, man. Dude, 50 million rats in New York City? 1,000 are dumb retards? Like, that's not a bad percentage. You know? It's kind of like how humans are now. You know, once you can check for the chromosome for the, the DS. I have no problem with that. Like, if I had a kid with it, I'd love the kid. But, yeah, so my whole point is summertime, New York City, baby. Freaks are out. The freaks, man. I have another buddy, one of the Canadian boys, moved down here, Danny Marinello. We're riding the train back home. This was last week, right before I left for Texas. And you're looking around, and you're like, yo, the freaks are out. That's the thing about the winter. The winter freezes out the homeless. I don't know where they go. Maybe with the retard rats. I don't know where they are. But they're not there. Wintertime in New York City smells immaculate. It's amazing. You just go for a walk and you're like, you can smell the clouds. There's like small town smells that are incredible. When you just go walk outside, you take a whiff, your nose hairs freeze, but you smell that like it's nice. The clouds, the condensation, there's something that gets in your nose and you're like, it's good to be alive. You get a couple months of that in New York City where you're walking around, fucking streets. You go up to Midtown, you go a little past Midtown, and the streets are completely empty because it's so cold. So I don't know where the homeless go. I don't know. They go underground. They go into the subways. Wherever they go, A-okay with me. But as soon as it gets hot out, once it gets in the 60s and 70s, man, they must come out from hibernation. Hibernation. It's time to eat and it's time to fucking wreak havoc. And they exist everywhere. They're on the trains. They're on the streets. The smell's back. The smell of urine. And, so when you go home late at night, they even come out more. I guess they sleep during the day. I don't know why. Or they can't operate in certain heats. So they get energy at night when the sun goes down. Or they're building up energy like a Tesla. They're saving, they're solar-powered energy. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But they come out at night. So when you ride the train, and I live in Brooklyn, a lot of artists live in Brooklyn. So always try and find someone who's more vulnerable than me. I don't look vulnerable, but my mind is vulnerable. My mind is like, oh my God, paranoid all the time. So what I do, I look for the physical vulnerability. I look for the guy who's there like completely hairy arms, hairy legs, but he's in a dress. That's a vulnerable guy. So if I trust the fact that if someone goes crazy on the train, I can use dude in a dress as body armor. Whatever the I don't want to say Hamas because that will like get people upset. But whatever, there's a country where people supposedly use civilians as body armor. I'm not going to say where. So I always look for someone who could be someone wearing a mask, dyed hair, woman in a dress, just like a dog in a dress, like anyone. You have to be fucking prepared. This is New York City. People think this is like crazy thoughts and this is like inhumane, but I'm telling you, maybe in fucking Pawtucket, you don't have to think like this and you think I'm a rude person, but when you're in Brooklyn, New York, right in the L at 1:30 in the morning, you got to find the human shield. You have to find a human shield or else you're going to be the human shield. So what is it? You want to die with your fucking morals? You want to be morally correct or morally correct or whatever the term is? You can be morally correct. I'm fucking going to be immoral, inhumane, and use body armor so I don't get stabbed by a fucking HIV needle. So, Anyways, that's my thoughts. By the way, didn't sell any fucking candles last week. Like 8 in Houston and none in Austin because there were too many people going around. So that kind of sucked. But hey, you're here. I'm kind of queer. We had a great week. My dog's in a little rough shape right now. Thor, I don't know what happened. Maybe the weather changed. So fat dog, have to feed him less. And can't even walk him, so I got the hernia and I've got the shoulder bag. What I'm trying to say, send me cash. Send me money. No, but thank you guys for supporting this. Go also onto the Instagram. We're posting some fun content. It is fun. It's a good time. It's a great time to be alive. Did some fucking Tai Chi this morning, drinking a nice coffee. What more could you want? Tits are out. Nobody's wearing bras. Fucking everyone's hot. It's great. Anyways, have a great week. Again, this is the greatest podcast for elite losers. And you, if you've watched this far, you are, I think I covered that, like the dad who takes a picture with the thumb over the camera. If you've made it this far, you are one of the greatest elite losers.